The story of how the Church of Jesus grew from the very first church in Jerusalem until the global church today makes it clear Jesus is the one who builds his church. But Jesus invites us to join in. And while Jesus builds his church, the church is called to build each other up and encourage one another. There's no such thing as a local church that exists in isolation from the greater church of Jesus. Every local church shares the history of churches helping start churches, helping start churches, helping start churches. Churches of all shapes and sizes, all locations and languages, exist because communities of Jesus followers sent some of their own, often their best, to help new communities form. This is why Mill City Church exists. So let's go all the way back to where our story began. The very church Jesus was speaking about in Matthew 16, when he says he will build his church, begins in Jerusalem, spreads throughout the then Roman Empire, and then makes its way into Europe. The Catholic Church in Germany experiences a huge change called the Reformation in the 16th century, which results in a group of people eventually known as the Pietist Lutherans, some of whom are specifically in Sweden. They called themselves Missionsvänner, which means mission friends in Swedish. Seeking more freedom in their worship and study of Scripture, they take the long journey and immigrate to the U.S. They settled in the Midwest and began to gather so they could worship Jesus in their heart language of Swedish. In 1871, a group formed the first Swedish Baptist church in Minneapolis, called by that very name. A group from First Svenska Baptistkyrkan knew a church on this side of the river was needed. So 6 women started a small business here in Northeast to raise seed money to start Elim Church in 1888. Over the years, Elim helped start 3 churches in the Twin Cities: Bethany Church in 1904, Oak Hill Church in 1947, and Salem Church in 1963. Elim was also instrumental in starting another organization connected to the church, Bethel Academy, that met at Elim for a few years before merging with Swedish Theological Seminary in 1914 to form what is now Bethel University. A group of faculty and students from Bethel started a Bible study that eventually became a church in 1943, now known as Wooddale Church. Wooddale helped start 10 churches in the last 35 years, but the first church they helped start was Woodridge Church in 1990. Woodridge Church helped start Mill City Church in 2008. Mill City helped start North City Church in 2019. Then helped start a Spanish-speaking church in 2021, Espiritu Santo. Mill City adopted the people and the legacy of Elim Church in 2023. And now our third church plant is launching in 2025, Garden City Church, led by 2 of our own Mill citizens, Chris and Ellen Aldrich. Every local church shares the history of churches helping start churches, helping start churches. Very few of us have Jewish ancestry, but clearly we wouldn't be here without their courage to follow Jesus, to begin the church in Jerusalem even when it was dangerous to do so. And only a few are left with Swedish ancestry, but we wouldn't be here without courageous Swedish immigrants wanting the opportunity for more freedom in their worship, just like many immigrants today are hoping for. And if Elim as a young church had not been willing to share their resources to launch a school called Bethel, history shows that Mill City may have never begun. Today we are a church of people that span all living generations, folks with ancestors from many countries around the world and originating from dozens of states in the U.S. Just one of the millions of churches of Jesus all over the world. While no local church or buildings or institutions last forever, the power of death itself cannot overcome the Church of Jesus. His power has no end.